Mikel Arteta has been in charge of Arsenal for just 4 matches, and yet the tactics he is instilling into the players are already clear to see. Let's get straight into it. Since taking over as the Arsenal boss, Arteta has generally employed a 4-2-3-1 shape. Leno lines up as the goalkeeper. In front of him, Kolasinac appears the favoured choice on the left when injuries aren't a concern, and the 22-year-old Maitland-Niles on the right. In the centre of defence, the most consistent starter has been David Luiz, having begun every match so far under the Spaniard. Alongside him, many would argue that Chambers could provide the most solid defensive partner, but due to a recently sustained injury, Arteta has instead looked to Socrates. In front of the defence is the important double pivot. While Guendouzi has been in the mix for this position, it is Granit Xhaka and Lucas Torreira that appear the favoured choices. In the attacking 4, 3 players appear to have their places nailed down. Aubameyang on the left, Ozil in the middle, and Lacazette as the central forward. On the right, there has been rotation between Reiss Nelson and Nicola Pepe, but Pepe appears the more likely choice in the long term, especially considering his current form. During the build-up phase, this 4-2-3-1 shape generally shifts to a 3-2-4-1, with Granit Xhaka dropping into the back 3 and the full-backs pushing higher up the pitch. In defence, Arsenal will drop into a compact 4-4-2 or 4-4-1-1 shape. Previously, I spoke about how Arteta could line up Arsenal using tactical inspiration from his time with Pep Guardiola. Let's now take a look at the similarities and differences that we can already see. The modern day fullback generally pushes high up the pitch and remains wide. At City, however, the fullbacks often drift centrally and remain deeper in the pitch. These are known as inverted fullbacks and are a favourite of Pep. In Arsenal's recent matches, we can see Maitland-Niles in the right-back position, already performing the inverted fullback role as Arsenal look to build up in their 3-2-4-1 shape. Kolasinac on the right, however, moves much further up the pitch and remains wide, operating in the mould of a modern-day fullback, not an inverted fullback. While Guardiola has played matches with one inverted fullback and one attacking fullback, most commonly Benjamin Mendy being the attacking fullback, it generally isn't his preferred method. Therefore, it will be interesting to see whether this is a tactical tweak introduced by Arteta for the long term, or simply an adaptation to suit the Arsenal players in the current squad. In the attacking phase, Guardiola's Man City attack with 5 forwards, as can be seen here in their recent match against Sheffield United. Unai Emery's Arsenal, however, generally weren't brave enough to consistently commit so many men to the attack. Under Arteta, though, this has already changed, as we can see here in their recent victory over Manchester United. Another similarity that is beginning to stand out is both Guardiola's and Arteta's desire to attack the half spaces, the area seen here between the opposition's central defenders and fullbacks. In this example for Man City, Kevin De Bruyne plays a short pass to the winger and darts into the empty position left by the fullback. A quick 1-2 and De Bruyne is in behind the Burnley defence. A dangerous cross and a goal almost follows. Here, Arsenal are looking to use the same tactic to exploit Man United's defence. Kolasinac receives the ball in the half space from Aubameyang, he powers to the byline and pulls the ball back. Pepe, waiting in the middle, happily collects the ball, puts it in the back of the net and gives his side an early lead. To recap, we can already see Arteta implementing several styles of play that Guardiola has used for many years. The introduction of an inverted fullback, the bravery to commit 5 forwards to the attack, and the exploitation of the opposing team's half spaces. However, perhaps the single biggest overlap is the use of the high press and intense energy. Guardiola's Man City press high and create intense pressure for the opposition in their own half. The goal is to win the ball back as quickly as possible and in a dangerous position, thus catching the opposing team out of shape. Under Emery, Arsenal often attempted to press, but looked disjointed doing so, often pressing as individuals rather than as a team. As a result, they would commonly leave large spaces for the opposition to play into and break the Arsenal press. Arteta's Arsenal are already beginning to press teams as a unit. Here we can see the forwards pressing United's goalie. Ozil is covering Fred, Pepe is sprinting to cut off the passing lane to Luke Shaw, and Lacazette is attempting to cut off both passing lanes to Maguire and Lindelof. In this example, United were able to narrowly play through this initial press, but this tactic consistently disturbed their build-up play during the match and was a key factor of why Arsenal walked away as victors. Before we move on to discuss Arsenal's key players and how Mesut Ozil particularly looks like a transformed man, I'd like to take a quick moment to welcome you to the channel. Here on the 12th Man, I discuss the tactics of football, breaking down how teams play and analysing the big fixtures. No major spiel, simply if you like this video, hit subscribe now before you forget later on, and turn on notifications for regular videos just like this. Thank you for taking the time to listen. Now let's get back to the video. It would be amiss to discuss how Arteta is transforming Arsenal without highlighting the transformation of three key players: Lucas Torreira, Granit Xhaka, and of course, Mesut Ozil. As noted in my previous video, Torreira is a player that Arsenal fans have been desperate to see more of, and in particular in his correct position. Under Arteta, he has shifted back into a more defensive role in front of the back four, typically playing alongside Granit Xhaka. Here, his defensive instincts and ability to play as a double pivot have excelled. Earlier in the season, Granit Xhaka infamously had a public falling out with the fans. His departure from Arsenal looked almost certain. Then, Arteta took over. Since the Spaniard landed the job, Xhaka has been a consistent starter and regained his form. In the build-up play, it is often Xhaka who drops into the defence to provide extra cover as the fullback pushes higher up the pitch. His passing from this position, along with further up the pitch, have excelled in the past few games. Here we see the ball bouncing near Xhaka. Without even taking the ball under control, he fires an exquisite pass into Lacazette and sets up the next attack. There are many Arsenal fans who previously wanted him out of the club that have flipped their opinions based on recent form, but the key question still remains: will he be at Arsenal at the end of this transfer window, or is the damage already done? With the bookies having him slightly odds on to join Hertha Berlin in January, we will have to wait and see. While Torreira and Xhaka have both been players transformed, the biggest change of all must go to Mesut Ozil. In my previous video, I discussed how Arteta would likely look to implement a high-pressing style similar to Guardiola. So far, this appears correct. However, I also added that Ozil, a famously lazy player, may not suit this high-energy style. Boy, have I been wrong. Against Man United, Ozil covered more distance and regained possession more times than any other Arsenal player. But most impressively, he covered more distance in this match than he has in any game over the last 2 years. To say that Arteta has got Ozil running again would be a huge understatement. Since Mikel Arteta's appointment, Arsenal look like a new team. They press high up the pitch, their defence looks more solid, and they've begun working together as a unit. However, they are nowhere near the finished article. Playing a high-energy pressing style of football is physically draining on the players. Against Chelsea, Arsenal also started brightly, but faded later in the match as their fitness levels simply aren't yet up to scratch. This must improve with time. Arteta must also win over the trust of the players. After their recent FA Cup tie with Leeds, Lacazette is quoted as saying, "The manager shouted a lot. He was not happy because we knew they'd play like this, and we didn't respect what he had said." For the team to truly work as one, they must have full belief in the manager, which does take time. After Arteta's positive start, Arsenal fans are cautiously optimistic. Comment below how you think Arteta is doing so far and which positions he should try to strengthen in the January transfer window. If you've enjoyed this video and want to see more tactical breakdowns in the future, click the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you'll know when future uploads are out. Thank you for watching.